Alright, the UK is a dystopia and I am leaving for France. So I'm a Frenchman, I'm your neighbor if you're watching this video from the UK. And despite the fact that I've been saying a lot in my previous videos that France is not a country I would move to, I simply think there are better options available at the moment. People keep asking me a lot about France, about the ins and the outs of this country, my country, France, and whether France could be a good option for them. So now, is the UK a better country than France at the moment? Here is where I stand. I think now in 2025 France is a less bad country than the UK. It's not amazing. These countries are very similar, I think. They have roughly the same problems, but still, nowadays France is slightly better than the UK. It's less bad. Let's put it this way. Here are some things that are better in France at the moment than in the UK, I think. Okay, so I haven't been to the UK for a very long time. I still read, write, and speak English fluently, so I do read about the UK. I do listen to bloggers and YouTubers based in the UK. So I guess, you know, things are more or less the same than France at the moment. But still, some things have been shocking me a lot about the UK lately. For example, here in France, I think freedom of speech is still better. It's getting worse, but it is nowhere close to what's happening in the UK at the moment. Here, for criticizing your government, you won't get arrested and thrown in jail. Okay? It doesn't happen. For instance, I do criticize my government, the French government, a lot. I've been criticizing the French government a lot, even harshly at some point in the past. I've never been arrested, nor thrown to jail, not tortured, not fined, and so on. Freedom of speech is still quite good here. And I see, around me, YouTubers, vloggers, criticizing the French government, sometimes even quite harshly, and criticizing what's happening in the country, and they don't get arrested. Okay, so I think when it comes to freedom of speech, especially if you're using the English language, it's better here. It's better in France. Okay, this is not the UK, this is not Russia, Iran, China, or North Korea. Okay, so you're better off by moving to France if you want more freedom of speech, especially if you speak English. Nobody cares. Never forget, French people suck at foreign languages. Okay, so they won't bother, watching your videos in English. They don't care, I mean, the government doesn't care at all. So that's the first thing. I think France is slightly cheaper as well. So it depends where you go. If you go to Paris, Lyon, or Marseille, it might be the same, maybe slightly cheaper than London. It's still cheaper, but once you go to the countryside, yes, it's cheaper here. I think the wages, cost of living ratio is still better in France than in the UK. It's getting worse here as well. We've got inflation here as well, but it is, I think, still better. Okay, you can still rent a place for less than 1,000 euros per month in the countryside. Big enough house or big enough apartment for a family for less than 1,000 euros per month. It's still possible. Okay, utilities I think are cheaper here as well. Groceries I think are more or less the same, for what I understand, watching and reading a lot about the UK and what's happening there. I think it's the same, if not cheaper. So if you can work remotely, if you can make a living in the UK and move to France and work remotely, yeah, in the countryside you are, I think, better off when it comes to the cost of living. And of course, you can always work here. The wages here are not the highest in the West, but not that bad either. France is still, in the top best countries in the West when it comes to wages. No matter what people say, what what people say in France, what people French people may say about their wages. It's still good compared to Eastern Europe, Russia, and a lot of Asian countries or South America. Okay. When it comes to the food is, I think, better than in the UK. It's well documented. French food is amazing, and when I am abroad, I always miss the French food. The quality of the food is good as well. Even processed food is good in France. Overall, the food is healthier here and of better quality, and the taste, of course, is good. Okay, so the food is better. Climate will be slightly better as well. Of course, it depends where you go in France. Northern France has its crappy weather as well, rainy, gray, depressing weather. But if you move to the southern part where I'm located, we get a lot of sun year round. It's warmer as well. We've got the Mediterranean Sea, the mountains, the Alps, the Pyrenees. Central France is pretty nice as well, and a beautiful countryside, old villages, traditional French villages which are beautiful. If you're into hiking, if you're into road trips, if you like skiing, if you like swimming in the sea in the summer, southern France is overall a nice place to be. I'm talking about the countryside, okay? Avoid the big cities. France's big cities have the same problems as Rotterdam, London, and all these big, UK cities where there is crime, stabbings, shootings, rapes, and so on. It's happening here as well. When it comes to crime, I don't think France is better off than the UK. I think it's same nowadays. I'm talking about the big cities, but as long as you avoid the big cities, France is still okay. I'm living in the countryside. It's quite safe, and it's overall still a quite nice place to be. Okay, I'm talking about the countryside. So overall, I think a less bad country. You don't have to stay here in France forever. You can always move later on to another country if you want to assimilate, to integrate into the French society. French is not the most difficult language in the world for English speakers. Never forget, about 60% or so of the English language comes from French. Some say English is just badly pronounced French, and there is some truth to that, definitely. So if you pronounce your vocabulary in the right way, you will be fine in France. Okay, in France. Or in France, you like to say in the UK. You like to say either and not either. You like to say France and not France, and so on. You like to say rather and not rather, Anyway, it's a less bad place, I think. It's bigger as well. As I was saying, a lot of nice places to go to. And you don't have to stay here forever. But if you're just looking for a country that is not that far from home, you can always drive back home quite often. Not that far from home, with a not too difficult language, culture to understand. France and the UK are still quite similar. It's still the West. And just slightly better because you want to escape the UK as fast as possible. France could be a better option temporarily, okay? And from here you can always move to Eastern Europe or to Asia or to South America, or if you have just a ton of cash and you think the UK real estate is just too expensive, and you can buy a nice property here in France, go for it, in the countryside. There's still some nice places here in the countryside. And that's all what I wanted to say. Overall, a less bad place, but not the country I would pick if I were coming from the UK in 2025. If this was useful, smash Smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, share this video in the UK. You can book a one-on-one call with me in the description. You can find some links and book a one-on-one call with me if you want to talk about your move, about moving to France, for example. I'm a Frenchman. I do know this country quite well. I do speak English fluently, so we can talk about the ins and the outs of this country. And yeah, here we go. Talk to you soon, and we are out. Take care.